Hey everybody, and welcome back to Jim's Garage. So over the course of my videos, we've done quite a bit with Kubernetes. I've shown you how to set up RKE2 and K3S, Longhorn, Rancher, but there's one key thing that we haven't covered, and that is how do you upgrade this thing? Because as we know, over time, there are going to be things like security vulnerabilities that we want to be able to patch, and there's probably going to be lots of new features that will come out that we want to integrate into our cluster. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to upgrade your cluster. I'm going to show you how to do that with a live demonstration on RKE2, but this will also apply to K3S, and we'll have a look at that configuration and that process as well. Plus, I'll also cover things like Rancher, Longhorn, Metallb, and Kube-VIP, which are all the core components that are in my deployment script. Anyway, let's get into upgrading our cluster. So, hopping over into Rancher, let's have a quick look at the versions I've deployed. Now, I've deliberately tweaked my GitHub config script to include versions that are out of date. They're not significantly out of date because that can cause problems, and we'll come on to that in a moment. But as you can see here, we're dealing with 1.26.9, and we've also got version 2.7.5 of Rancher. Both of these are not quite the latest versions, so we're going to fix that. And also, we've got different versions of Longhorn that are not up to date. So if we look at Longhorn, we can see that we're on 1.5.1, and I know that 1.5.4 is out. So let's begin with the upgrade process. Now, the most important thing to do is to do your homework first. This isn't just like a normal application that traditionally you can usually just upgrade. First, we need to consult the compatibility matrix. That's because SUSE, who make Rancher and make RKE2 and K3S, they provide a handy upgrade path, and it shows you all the compatible versions between all of the items that I've just mentioned. Let's have a look at that now so you can understand what I'm talking about. So over here on the SUSE website, you can see that I've selected version 2.7.9 of Rancher. That's the latest stable version. And here you can see that there's a lowest version of 1.23 and a highest version of 1.26. So if you cast your mind back to my first iteration of my script, where I was using alpha versions of Rancher and development builds of RKE2 and K3S, that actually allowed us to get onto version 2.8 of Rancher and allowed us to deploy version 1.27 of Kubernetes. But I don't traditionally like to use development builds. I'm not a developer. I want something that's stable. So as you can see here, the version 2.7.9, which is newer than the version we've got installed, is okay to be supported up to version 1.26. Now, we're already on 1.26, but we're not on the latest version of 1.26. So, you need to understand first what versions you're on and what your upgrade path is. In this instance, I'm okay to upgrade Rancher to the latest version because I'm already on 1.26. So I'm going to upgrade Rancher first to the latest version, and then I'm going to upgrade Kubernetes. Now I'm doing that because I like to administer my cluster through the Rancher GUI, and I want to make sure that that remains active. I can always fail back to kubectl on the command line if needed, but I want to avoid that just for convenience purposes. So let's get into the process of upgrading Rancher. And if you consult my GitHub, where I've got the instructions for doing this manually, you can see here that we've done a Helm install. And you'll notice from a previous video where I showed you how to install and upgrade random services, we followed the same process. So in this instance, we're going to be doing a Helm upgrade. And to actually pin this to an outdated version for this exercise, I actually pressed return and then I did a set, and you can specify a version here. So I deliberately put an older version. Now, if we get rid of that line and leave it as is in the GitHub, this should automatically default to the latest version within the latest repo. Now, in a previous video, we've set that repo to be in a development or an alpha, but in this one, we're going to have it as latest because we want the latest stable version. So let me copy this command by changing the install to an upgrade into the terminal, and then we'll get on with it. So the command we need looks like this. It's helm upgrade Rancher from the Rancher latest repo. We're going to keep it in the namespace of cattle system, and we're going to set the host name to whatever we want if we want to change it. You can also delete that line if you don't need it. Crucially, we're not going to set the bootstrap password here. We're going to keep that as is. And we're also not going to specify a version as it automatically defaults to the latest. So let's run this command and let's see what happens. I'll put the original in the background now. So just as a reminder, you can see we're on 2.7.5 and hopefully when this finishes, we should be on 2.7.9. So that's now going to go away and pull down the newest version. And hopefully in a moment, we'll have that up and running. This is likely going to kick us out of the GUI, but with any luck, that should be back up and running in just a few minutes. If we want to, we can obviously watch the deployment, so we can see that 2 of 3 are ready. And when that hits 3, we should be up and running. So if we actually watch the deployment status, we can see that 2 out of 3 replicas have been updated, and it's probably systematically doing that one by one, so that the UI will remain up. So I'll skip ahead now and show you this when it's finished. Just be patient, it might take some time. Okay, well this is still deploying, but actually in the background is refreshed. And I think the documentation is slightly wrong because we've actually bumped up to version 2.8.0, not 2.7.9. But actually if you go onto their website and you don't see a 2.8, however, if you go to the Rancher documentation, you see a 2.8 at the top, and if you click the support matrix, it redirects you to 2.7.9. So I think there's a bit of a documentation control issue there, but regardless, we have now Rancher 2.8 up and running, and it's managing our existing cluster. So now that we're confident that we're on a version that's higher, that 2.8, I feel confident now in upgrading my version of RKE2. This will be the same for K3S as well. So how do we do that? So if we look at the upgrade routes, we've got 2 options. We've got manual upgrades and we've got automated upgrades. I'm going to do the manual upgrade for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's the one that I used in my script, and secondly, it plays nicely with things like Terraform and Jetporch, which I'm going to use in the future. Now, perhaps a more cloud native approach is to use the automated script, which you can see here. The automated script actually works by deploying a container or a pod within the cluster, which is configured to check against the latest version. Now, what's cool about that is you can pin it to, say, the latest stable release, and a bit like Watchtower in Docker, it will constantly check whether you've got the latest version of that release channel, and it should automatically update you. Now, it shouldn't knock things offline because it checks to make sure that there are the minimum available, i.e. it won't take out more than 2 masternodes at a time, and similarly you can specify how many you want to do with a worker. But in this instance, I'm going to do the manual upgrade. So if we go to the manual upgrade, you can see again that we've got the options for the different channels. I'm going to pin this to the latest, which I've actually done a bit of checking, so a minor edit in this video. I'm going to take this to 1.27 because I know that actually works with version 2.8, and it's just a documentation issue on the Rancher website. So if we scroll down, it's really straightforward. We simply need to run the convenience script again, but with a slight tweak, I'm going to choose this one here. I'm going to pull the script, I'm going to make sure that the release channel is set. So let's copy this, and now instead of going to the admin machine, remember in my script I actually connect into my cluster. That's because we need to run this as root. So let's hop now into any of your master nodes, not the workers, and then we can run this script. So for simplicity, I'm just going to connect to my master node 1. So here I am logged into that masternode 1. You can see here it's RKE2 and it's probably a good idea before you do anything more, i.e. upgrading the actual Kubernetes version, to take some snapshots and backups of your VM and possibly spin down all of the deployments that you've got running in your cluster, just to make it so there's less chance of things going wrong. So I've got nothing running on here, but assume that I've shut everything down and I've made the necessary backups. So we're going to need to be root to do this, so let's do a sudo su. And now that we're root, we should be able to copy this command and run it. So now that's going off and it's finding the latest version, which we can see here is actually 1.29. And now that's downloaded, we actually need to restart the server. So we need to copy this command here and then see what happens. So if we run this command, this might take a little while, but once it does, it should spin up with that new version. Do make sure that you choose the right one. So the first one here is for the server, so you'll need to run this on the master nodes. And the second one is the agent, which we'll need to run on the worker nodes. And so now, after a bit of time, and it might actually be worth creating a script for this, either in JetPorch or a shell. But one thing to bear in mind is give it enough time for the nodes to come back online. You wouldn't want to do this all in parallel because it could risk breaking your cluster. But now you can see that I've got all of these versions now on 1.29. That includes my master nodes, my workers, and my Longhorn nodes. So let's now get on to upgrading Longhorn. So if I go into Longhorn for this cluster, you can see that I've got version 1.51, and at the bottom it says I've got 1.53 available. So how do we do that? Thankfully, again, really simple, and we can do it with a single click. So going over to the Longhorn documentation, if we go to upgrade with kubectl, which is how I've deployed this in the script, you can do this however you want. There is a helm option below, and that one again is really straightforward. So to do this with kubectl, we're going to double click here to copy this command, and we're going to head back over to our admin terminal and we can run this. We don't need to be on the master node. This can be run from the admin because it doesn't require root privileges. Now, one thing to bear in mind when you run this is it's going to pull the YAML file from Longhorn itself, which doesn't have the slight change that's in my script, which specifies that Longhorn should only be applied to nodes where Longhorn is specified. So what you could do is copy and paste this here. So go to this website here and make a copy of this just like you did before. Put it into this folder location on your admin machine, and then add the node selector of Longhorn equals true, much like I have here. So on line 4150, I put a node selector for Longhorn true. Now that means that Longhorn will only be installed where that label is true, but you could actually put a no execute on your master nodes and still have the same effect because we have Longhorn installed on everything but the master nodes. So let's copy the command, and then we're going to head back over to our admin machine and we're going to put this in now. So let's run that command, and hopefully that will go away and deploy version 1.53. As always, this will take a little bit of time because what will happen is it's going to gracefully shut down the older versions and then spin up in parallel the new versions, and hopefully we shouldn't have any worries with data issues and pods being missing at the end of this process. If we want to go into Rancher, we can probably see this happening in real time, or you can do it via the CLI if you want to watch the deployment. So over in Rancher, in the workloads, make sure you've got all namespaces selected, and you can see here that the driver is being redeployed now to version 1.53, and that's the same as the manager and the UI. And a few of these have been pulled, and depending on how rate limited you are from all of these updates, it might take a little bit of time, but just let it finish, and then hopefully at the end of this you'll be able to re-access the Longhorn GUI. I'm going to skip ahead now and I'll see you on the other side. And so whilst that's still deploying in the background, you can now see that we're on version 1.53, and so now we have Rancher, RKE2 and Longhorn upgraded. Let's get on to the remaining Kube-VIP and Metallb. So if we head over to the Metallb website, and if you have a look at my script, you'll know that it's installed using kubectl. Now to upgrade this, we're first going to have to uninstall it and then reinstall it. Now at this juncture, you could possibly shift over to using Helm to deploy it, which would give you the option to do the Helm install and then the Helm upgrade, which is probably a nicer solution. But because I've given you the manifest, I'm going to show you how to upgrade it first. So instead of running this command here, the kubectl apply-f, we're going to copy it, paste it into our terminal, and we're going to change the apply to be a delete. So what this is going to do is delete Metallb, which will break your cluster, but we're then going to reinstall it, and here it's going to use version 13.12. My version is 13.11 on this machine currently. And then we're going to reapply all of the IP pools and the advertisement pools, which you can also see in my deployment script. So if we go over to the script here, this is for RKE2. You would just have to look for the ones for K3S in the other script. So here you can see I apply the manifest for the namespace, and then I deploy this here, which is the file that we're going to delete, and then I apply the IP address pool. So with any luck, we should be in a good space. So over on the admin machine, we're going to right click here. We're going to go back onto this to make this a delete. This is going to delete Metallb, and it's going to completely break access to your cluster for all of your services that are using a load balanced IP, but we're going to fix that in a moment. So that's now completed, so we can paste the original command back in, which is the apply, and if you look here, it's going to apply version 13.12. So let's hit return. That's now going to pull down and deploy the new version, which was really quick, great. Now we need to hop back into the script to find out what additional steps we need to do. So now that's deployed and it's created the namespace for us. We don't need to pull down this file here because this should already be in your home space. And you'll see that it's actually here. It's this IP address.yaml, and here you can see my load balancer IP range. So we don't need to worry about changing that. What we need to do is now apply that. And that's just with that kubectl apply-f. So we can copy that and then we can paste that into our terminal. And fingers crossed, with any luck, we should be able to get our services back up and running and have access to our containers. So now hopefully I can run kubectl get service for cattle system for Rancher, and fingers crossed Rancher's still got an IP address. So here, yeah, you can see that Rancher has still got that 3.60 address. So fingers crossed, I can go back into my browser now and hopefully we've got access to Rancher. So let me just give this a refresh. And yeah, we're back in, so good. And we've now updated Metallb to the latest version. And then if we go into our workloads, we can see on our controller here that we've got 13.12, which is the version we just deployed. So everything's back up and running. And so for Kube-VIP, the way to update this is pretty similar. So if you actually look at how Kube-VIP is deployed within my script, you can see that it's pulling a daemon set. It's this Kube-VIP file here. And the reason that I've got my own is because I've pinned it to a node. So what you can do is you can go into this file and you can change this version to the latest version, and you'll need to do that for all of the files in here. Now, I'll try to keep this up to date, but it may change over time. But all you would need to do is simply delete this daemon set and then reapply it. And you can do that via the CLI, or you can actually head into Rancher itself. You can go to your daemon sets, and in daemon sets, you can see the Kube-VIP DS here. So you can click that, delete it, and then instead of it being copied and deployed during the onset, you would copy this, you'd go into your terminal, and you'd then do a kubectl apply-f, and then paste that in, and fingers crossed, that should deploy to the latest version. So thanks for watching, everybody. That probably wasn't the most elegant presentation, and I am going to try and automate this process in the future for you. But I think it's always good to understand how to do things manually before you just rely on scripts. So that should be able to give you all of the tools you need now to go and upgrade core parts of your cluster if you've been following my videos. And pretty much that same process is going to apply to all of the services that you're running. The key thing is take plenty of backups if you're not sure, and double check things like those compatibility matrices, otherwise you could find yourself in a tricky situation. Anyway, I hope you've liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.